Hi everyone. So I'm talking about our dog population programs in the end. So HSI has carried out or supported multiple dog sterilization programs across the world, and our observations indicate that these projects appear to be associated with a human behavior change that improves human-dog interactions. Like we've heard, all the time, like these last 3 days, street dogs are not necessarily ownerless strays as we would expect them to be, but they're more influenced by human tolerance and human behavior. So in our projects in Jamshedpur and Haryana in India, which are high-volume sterilization projects, we are emphasizing the importance of community engagement and human behavior change. We have observed a decline in human-dog conflicts and a strengthening of human-canine bond through hands-on exposure to positive interactions. And the program in Jamshedpur, which started in 2013, utilized for the first time a so-called hand handling protocol, which I don't have time to explain. That is really important because my colleague Joy Lee, she developed this protocol, which not only changed how we handle dogs, but also how we interact with the community and how we implement our program. That means that we basically catch them on the street by hand, and throughout the whole process, they're never in a net or any other cage or anything. So when we bring them back to the exact same location on the street, so there's no interruption. Although dogs were not particularly used to being handled, we trained local staff, and with their patience and lots of cookies, they were all able to handle, on average, 70% of the dogs in communities instead of using nets. In 2014, HSI launched the largest high-volume sterilization program and vaccination program we have currently, and we exclusively catch them by hand. Since the beginning of the program, almost 34,000 dogs have been sterilized in Hisar with absolutely no negative interaction. So we don't chase them into a corner or anything and try to catch them. Our team and welfare officers report that they are more than usual invited over for tea to just speak dogs. Dogs are always interested in us, and they play, and they try to play with us, try to jump into the car if they have seen the animal welfare officers before, which makes, of course, their work really easier, especially when it comes to post-op checks. But also children, which they report are really interested in the work, and they play with the dogs because our welfare officers and just the team in general play with the dogs and just show them how to interact. And they provide basically a role model where they can safely interact with the dogs as well and just ask questions. So this is really important, I think. Another example is Costa Rica, where an HSI partner has changed, at least we suspect, human-pet relationships for the better through sterilization and hands-on veterinary care. 10 years ago, the shelter was euthanizing 2,000 cats and dogs, but last year in 2015, they only euthanized 25 dogs and cats. According to 2 surveys, which have been mentioned before, conducted in 2003 and 2011 by WISPA, now World Animal Protection, the proportion of dogs allowed inside homes, for example, had increased from 26.5% to 54.2%. And Dr. Andrew Rowan visited the shelter in 2011, and his impression was also that there were no roaming dogs in Heredia, a suburb of San Jose. It could be argued, and we are actually arguing that it is very similar to the USA, where the euthanasia of dogs and cats in animal shelters plummeted in the 1970s and has continued to decline ever since. After sterilization, veterinarians and humane educations became basically an integral part of dog population control and management. And as Professor Arle, I don't know if he's still here, pointed out already, we need to understand Yes, all right. We need to understand human behavior and the changes in that behavior occurring after implementing humane dog population programs if we are to develop successful, for dogs and humans, dog management systems. Thank you.